Alright, so hey, I'm gonna do a little yap sesh, but I'm gonna do, but it's gonna be focused around um, Marvel Tokon because I want to do a roster. I want to do like an official roster thing, like what I did with Rivals, and I don't know, I kind of fantasize about this game a lot right now because I am like in the Ultimate Character Crisis with Street Fighter, and that's kind of all I've been playing, at least in terms of fighting games, and I kind of like, hey man, I talk a lot, so why not let me like use this as like an outlet, to talk and so to start, let's bring up the blog specifically. I know it's been done to death, but I also got to make sure I'm like doing my thing or being responsible, which is our art producer Takeshi Yamanaka states, "There's so many amazing Marvel characters. It's quite a struggle to choose our roster, but we did have some criteria for the process. First and foremost, we wanted to include characters who we feel to be the face of Marvel. At the same time, we also need to select characters that give us a balance of battle types and styles. Lastly, we wanted to sprinkle in a few surprises and leave room for characters who have never been playable in a fighting game before." And so, part of the reason I bring this up is because I low key kind of cheated a little on that where the fuck is it? I kind of cheated a little on the on my little like post I made because I did 36, and I decided, why not struggle the same fight everyone else had and do the full 35, and let me just for to keep this easy and simple, and I don't have to talk about filler. Let me like I'll speed this up, and I'll go ahead and put all the ones we know to be confirmed in right now. All right, so that took a bit of work to get all these back on here, and we just got done talking about. Oh yeah, we just got done talking about how it's the faces of Marvel, and the one in my post was super indulgent and whatnot, and I purposely left him off, but we can't ignore him, and it's Wolverine. All right, man, he's the X-Men, I feel you just can't do it without him, okay? And unfortunately, that's the way it is. But I don't make the rules. And yeah. I didn't want to, and I also didn't want to comment on that where I said it was super indulgent. So I want to like, I'm gonna do my best to be like, um, where it's not a bunch of my favorites, and it is like a good mix of like realistic possibilities and genuinely characters I'd be interested. And so that's why this next one I don't wanna spoil it, but oh shit, wrong one. I don't wanna talk about Faces of Marvel. You can't really go wrong with Luna Snow. I mean, she's dog. We gotta like Marvel Rivals got serious motion, man, and like she is their beloved. Like, what more can you say? Like, and like she's popular as fuck. Regardless if she's like the best character in that goddamn game who needs to get almost perma banned nonstop, but like she's got motion, and this leads into another topic that I heard Max do bring up during his first version. He got dogpiled on for it, which was or rather, so to compare this to MVC, right? The MVC rosters
always had something like a horrible split between female representation or female characters, period, and then the dudes. And I don't think they're gonna have this issue because they're not like tethered to the idea of like legacy characters or like fan favorite characters and whatnot, which I think is really cool, but also goes against a lot of what people really have to say or hope for. And then this next one, I've seen a bit of a hot take and whatnot, but this one's gonna stay the same, okay? It just makes sense. We're gonna add the Fantastic Four. Look, and I know people are like, oh, it's too easy, or like, why would they spend 4 slots on them? And it's like, oh my god, this is the 4v4 game. There's 4 whole ass characters in here, alright? I think you're trolling not to add them. You know, I think alongside the X-Men, their renaissance is upon us. And I'm recording this, I think, maybe a month-ish out, if I'm not mistaken, on when the movie comes out. But yeah, man, alright, like, talk about the Marvel Rivals effect, dog. The Marvel Rivals is also boosting them, you know. Like all of these characters in Rivals 2 were also S tier at one point, or really, really good. Except maybe Reed. I don't know. I'm not a Reed player, and just never will be. You know, I've put my hours in with good old Susie, Invisible Woman, being season 0 and season 1.0 and 1.5 support main, but he kind of crazy, you know. First video like 7 months ago or whatever, pushing it started with rivals, and now I'm adding a bunch of characters who are, you know, a lot of people probably got like their first exposure to from Marvel Rivals, you know. Comes full circle. I mean, and also like I just think people really downplay how much they kind of mean to Marvel as a whole, you know. The whole first family, whole team, like people gotta at some point people remember that like these dudes were like the guys. Like being someone who grew up in the early 2000s, well not early, I was born then. Being someone who grew up in the 2000s and then like so I was there pre Fox merger and pre or not Fox merger, pre like MCU stuff and like MCU synchronization and like where all these characters could like actually be here with each other. Um, dude, like Spider-Man, Wolverine, and like Hulk ran shit, and like I know that's such like a what's the term, bread plate fucking Twitter take and whatnot, but it's just the truth. Like these were the dudes before like the MCU decided to make Iron Man actually like a character everyone liked, and Thor a character everyone liked, and Captain America a character everyone liked. Anyway, we're going to the next one, and I promise these probably aren't gonna be in order. I might need to like take a quick break to figure out who I want to add next, but obviously, all right, and then so the next one's gonna be Daredevil, and that's just because I think he's already like pre-existing within the game. If I'm being totally honest, we already have that one stage where we've got the gym he trains in or grew up in, and he's a cameo in the map or the stage itself map. Man, I'm going through it, but yeah. Also faces. He's also never been in an MVC game. Say what you will. Say what you will, okay? He belongs here along with these five. And then, hold on, and then I'll see you. Okay, so you can clearly tell we got the next batch of characters and keeping the trend going. We got another, newbie. This one is a really popular one that I kind of expect this one to happen. Maybe not as much as Luna Snow, but it's magic, okay? Because let's be real, right? Everyone's gonna be like, oh, a bunch of X-Men, a bunch of X-Men. I'm like, you're so right. However, I think it's gonna be X-Men that either people don't want, aren't familiar with, or like, you know, are gonna be upset that it's not Cyclops, Gambit, Psylocke, and Rogue. Because the way like when they say this stuff, like to me, it's that it's super steeped in those characters like heavily steeped in MVC lore, like MVC rosters and whatnot. And there's let's be real, like all those characters are like all playable in in an Ultimate Alliance game, or and I know it's not a fighting game, but like they've got reps, okay. And then for our next one, this is another one I'm like kind of stealing, but I super vibe with, and it's my first villain that I'm adding, and it's Loki, specifically Lady Loki. I don't, and we got a Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider. I fuck with it. I think here's the thing, like I don't particularly find like the Asgardian super cool or whatever, so doing like a different spin on it other than just regular ass like, dude Loki, I guess. I'm all for like switching it up, doing things a little differently. Also, also never been in a fighting game, and I'm gonna keep it a buck. Thor has like kind of or not Thor. MVC3 has like destroyed like any perception I have of Thor in a fighting game, because my god, do I hate him in that game. I don't think he's fun. I don't think he's cool and whatnot. And then for the next one, we've got Black Panther. And I don't know what to tell you, Black Panther's sick. He's raw. Super, super popular character now. And you might be thinking, oh well, would you put him over Thor? And it's because I think he'd make for like a better feeling character than Thor. Okay, that's what it is. That's what it's my opinion, and my opinion is law right now, as of right now. Okay, I think Black Panther's that guy. I he was in Infinite, but uh, a common tale, unfortunately, in Infinite is there's a lot of cool ass characters that are unfortunately trapped within Infinite. But moving on to our next one, we've got the Wasp, and so the reason I'm like super hung up on the Wasp is that she's a founding member of the X-Men, and like outside of like the comics and whatnot, I think Earth's Mightiest Heroes, the cartoon, which I do want to start. I wanna like, cause I missed out on that in my childhood, but I feel like that's like the only one that really like, gives her her due, her comeuppance, her like what she deserves as like a founding member of the Avengers. And once again, she's brand new, and I'm just super big on like characters that are like they're like popular or whatever, but then you think about it, like, oh, they're not like that's crazy, they've never been in a fighting game before. Oh, and then I know the things in fucking Showdown, like Most Wanted, whatever that weird ass 2000s like arena fighter thing is, but all right, man, we're talking about 2D. screen to screen, okay? And then the next one is Blade, another like super obvious, like everyone who knows who Blade is, he's gonna be like the next character in Marvel Rivals, which this is gonna date the video, but whatever. Man, I can't stop talking about Rivals. I might need to be a Rivals channel for real, for real. But it's goddamn Blade, man. Okay, Blade's in like everything but cool stuff, in my opinion. Like, you know, I don't know what more you want me to say. It's fucking Blade, bro. Vampire, you know. Also, like, I assume him and I want to talk about playstyles a little. I feel like the Zoner, right? Obviously, Zoner, right? Obviously, big ass, heavy tank, slow, flyer, low key. Maybe with like the Billy clubs, he's a weird like mid range, kind of like kind of like how Ed is a boxer in Street Fighter, but he's best from the mid range. Rush down, you know, give her her disc teleports, make her tricky, give her tricky, you know, setups. Yeah. Some kind of like clone setup or like item setups, whatever. Rush down, make her tricky, then make him rush down. And then for Luna, oh man, I don't super know for Luna. I'm just like beholden or like sold that is like preordained that Luna Snow's gonna show up regardless of whatever. And then we only got 2 rows left and 2 more characters for this batch, and then I have to really think on the next set. But we've got Kate Bishop, and this feeds. I need to. I'll need to like. I'll need to rework the numbers, but I am super sold on the whole like even. Where the? Alright, where are you throwing her, bro? Can I get my picture? But I'm like super sold. Oh my god, I'm like super sold on the idea of like evens. Okay, I'm not actually doing it. That's why I'm like, hold on, where the fuck is she? Where are you putting her? Um. All right, fuck it. We're gonna. Anyway, I am super sold on the idea it's gonna be an even split, and like, let's do the math real quick. Uh, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so it's a 12 to 7 split of boys and girls. Sorry, that took me. I lost count. All right. It's not that it took me that long to count it. Please, 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 don't think I'm that dumb. But yeah. So with Kate, I just, you know, you get the. Is season 2 of that show being made? Like, did we ever get Did we ever get oh, something selected? Hold on, let me um the thing with dude, what the hell? Forgive me, man. It's been a fat minute. Way amateurish Photoshop. Free Photoshop skills are killing me, but alright, hold on, let me just do this then. Yeah, with the TV show that she got a few years back, and with maybe season 2 coming out or whatever. I just feel like, you know, another core Avenger, right? It's Hawkeye, but it's not Hawkeye. You know what I mean? And and then she would obviously be a zoner. Man, I make a lot of zoners, but I am a supreme believer in. I am a supreme believer in Shotos and Rushdowns are not the only character archetypes. All right, and so give me some. Give me other things other than the usual. I am a I am a big champion for. I'm a big champion for character type diversity and variety. I will stand by that till the end of time. I said it was Street Fighter, like it's crazy that we still like are still barely getting like variety other than like Shoto's kind of low key. And obviously like I won't like I won't stand to pretend like I know too much, okay, but I'm pretty sure charge characters are kind of like dookie when it comes to versus games because you gotta hold that shit. But yeah, man, if charge works. I'm down for it. Although that would be weird considering that game's supposed to have two control settings. You know, good old hard hand. Good old my hands cut stone. Old reliable motion inputs never go wrong, and then fucking modern inputs, which let me just say, for the most part, I have no issues with. I think it's how they're implemented and how they're schemed, and like that's a whole ordeal. That's like a whole ass like that's not something that you just put in there. That's like you gotta think about it, and also obviously if like you have bad hands or like you're straight up disabled and whatnot, and you need it, right? You like literally cannot play the game without it. Then I'll let bygones be bygones. But when they're like, I just don't understand how like people could be like, oh, well, I want to try. Obviously I'd play insert fighting game, but it looks too hard. I don't want to do it. And it's like, brother, like 7 different team comps in Marvel Rivals and all their counters, or like map lineups in Valorant, or like in 2017, 2019, like purest like street siege strats and whatnot. Like, get real, all right. And while saying that, I like accidentally revealed the next character without thinking, my, which is my boy. He's not my boy, but we're just gonna say he is another villain. All right, the second villain to be added, and of course it's a Spider-Man one, but it's Magneto, because I'm gonna be honest. All right, of all the things I could have stolen, Doc Ock, Doc Ock is not the one I want. I do not want. I don't want Doc Ock. You cannot make me like Doc Ock. I refuse to like Doc Ock, okay? I will. Mm-mm-mm. I like Mysterio. I think he's a funky pick. You know. And I feel like for the most part, this is like a pretty safe. Everyone besides these two are like pretty safe picks, and he's gonna be a zoner, okay? Or maybe he's a setup character, like how I imagine Loki being. Either way, these are, you know, I feel like these two a lot riskier, like a lot more like high potential. And with that being said, I'll like I'll try to go more in depth for these last, what is it? 8 spots, but I'll see you then. This is take two of doing this, but we're getting grappler help. I totally forgot a super obvious face of Marvel, and this other character I'm about to reveal. I already have them down in there, but we're getting two grapplers, okay? And one of them is She-Hulk. I'm praying that she becomes super popular, and the other one's Hulk. I don't need to talk about Hulk, okay? Everyone knows who Hulk is. Face of Marvel, blah blah blah. She-Hulk though, dude, I'm so happy with how she looks in Cosmic Invasion. Like I am, I'm genuinely excited and praying that this leads to like more opportunities for her to be in one or be in games and whatnot. Cause I fuck with She-Hulk. Always kind of have since I was a kid. Anyway, I showed off the next one. I think it's our last villain, sort of, and it's Ultron, baby. You know, filthy meat bags. So, like Black Beetle style from Young Justice, but we need a we need another villain, and I've got your villain. Okay, I like Ultron. I think he's cool. Another tricky character, but it's Ultron. Okay, him and who was it? Black Panther. All right, they're both in the trapped in bad video game, so we're fixing them up. And then, all right, so so it's the last five, and we're starting with Nightcrawler. I know you saw that one, but we're gonna ignore that you guys saw that one. All right, Nightcrawler. Okay, we're back on X-Men because the doy we gotta get X-Men, and he's like everyone's favorite. I think he's my favorite. I love him, and he's never been in one, which is kind of crazy. But he'd be like a. All right, my vision, right? Hear me out. He's a super annoying side switching character, with teleports and whatnot. That's how I think he spices up the game. But yeah, it's Nightcrawler, man. Okay, I feel like most people got him on theirs. I don't really think I gotta explain too much. No, that one. And then we're going to another X-Men, the last one. And like I still haven't like learned who God, where is she? We're gonna How come these aren't saving? But the the last one is Mirage. Good old Danny Moonstar. Represent representing Colorado. I I know like things about her, but I don't know actually. I don't I know who she is. I don't know her. To hit one of those, but um yeah, cuz we need more. I need more X-Men in here, and she's she's the one. She's the one we're gonna be adding. Why are you doing this to me, brother? Brother, why are you hurting me so? Um, hold on. Give me 1 second. Go back to what I was saying, with good old Danny. Good old Mirage, I don't know her like that, man. Um, I think I think it's a smart pick. I really do in the sense that she's a weird ass character. By that I mean who knows who she really is, okay? I think we need. I know I didn't do a lot of like joke characters or like crazy fun characters and whatnot, but I think she's like, I think she's perfect for what the game's looking for. I don't wanna, I don't wanna dwell on it too much because we're going back to another super obvious character, which is our guy Venom. Venom, the guy. What the fuck? What the fuck? Hold on one sec. Alright, I got Venom, you know. Look, when you're Spider-Man, you get a lot of privilege, and that is we need villains, so we're adding besides Ultron, Doom, and Loki, the other two are Spider-Man villains because we're getting weird and because it's Venom. Okay, I don't know what to tell you. I don't make the rules. They are what they are, and we just live with them. You know, he's in everything. He will forever be in everything. That's just the way it is in this world. Moving on, we got Bucky and Loki. I think they could do something really cool and make Bucky like make him a villain. You know, there's that statue of all the old Avengers or whatever. Make it do something like that's spoilers, huh? For the Ultimates. Obviously, don't do what they're doing in Ultimates. We don't need that character in fucking in a game ever. But make him a villain. Make him the Winter Soldier. Make it so that's not actually Bucky. You know, he can be a villain for real. For real. I have been totally Bucky pilled ever since Rivals came out. Big Cap, big Cap enjoyer in general. And then for the last one, all right, we ain't got that many Guardians, so you know who we're adding? We're adding Mantis because this is vibes, all right. This is my weird pick if I'm gonna get one, and I think that completes the like ratio. No, I think she's a weird ass character when we could get her in there, baby. I think she's perfect. You know, we've had Gamora, we've had Groot, we've had Rocket. So like either her or Drax makes sense, and I don't know much people who fuck with Drax. Speaking in general, you know, he's the funny guy in the movies, but I've always just liked Mantis and being a Rivals Mantis main in season 0. This is fucking around with her, you know, when I get to in nowadays, but yeah, this is the roster. So my full complete roster is Captain America, Spider-Man, Iron Man, Doctor Doom, Storm, Ms. Marvel, Star-Lord, Ghost Rider, Wolverine, Luna Snow, the Fantastic Four, Daredevil, Magic, Loki, Lady Loki, dare I say, Black Panther, the Wasp, Blade, Kate Bishop, Mysterio, Hulk, She-Hulk, Ultron, Nightcrawler, my dear baby boy, my beloved, I love you. And then Mirage is a weird freak ass character and also represent X-Men because with that they would make 1/6 of the roster, which doesn't sound like a lot, but kind of is, considering, how tight we're working with, although to be honest, in my humble opinion, I don't know if it's 36 like what I did in the post, but I do think we're gonna get a bigger roster than 30. And then Venom, Bucky, or my bad, the Winter Soldier and Mantis. And I think, you know, okay, so hear me out. Of the people I've added, I think lock in. I think at least two of the Fantastic Four are a lock. I think Daredevil is a lock. I think Magic's a lock. And then I think Black Panther and Blade are locks. And then I think um Bucky may be a lock. Then other than that, it's going based off what they said, you know. I I think I low-key kind of cooked. Okay. I know, and then like a big one. A super big one that I'm missing that's here or that isn't here but was on the post was Magneto, which I kind of left all of them off because I don't think we're getting him, and I don't think we're getting Sentinel. And truth be told, I could live without Sentinel. I think Magneto would be good DLC pick, but yeah, I would gladly trade Magneto for Nightcrawler finally getting in a game, getting any sort of Mirage representation, Magic kind of making her leap into like being a super well-known character, and or Mysterio. That just okay. I mean, totally honest. Mirage, Mantis, Mysterio, Wasp. Those are like the dudes I want. That's like a whole ass team I could run if I really wanted. Everyone else is like, oh, I wonder, but yeah, this is Witness and I'll do a nice little scroll. Witness and a marvel, this absolute beauty I've put together. Okay, so holy man. I didn't even really like go that in depth, and it's looking pretty long, but closing remarks is I guess this would be my set in stone uh realistic roster prediction, because I saw, dude, they were jumping max, dude, for like thinking like being super realistic, and for this first roster one, which in I will say I do think he had a lot of good points. However, Dog is the Fantastic Four, man. They're like that, just throw him in. And then he did his real one, which was a bunch of X-Men, which valid, fair. Either way, I just wanted to add that that this is what I'm rolling with. All right, I'm expecting like a 10% hit rate, low key, and I'll be pretty happy with that. But yeah, that's it. And then you know me, I will always give gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You see a second, minute, 5 minutes, whatever. You clicked on it, clicked off. You skipped to the end to see like what the roster looked like. I appreciate it, man. I really do. And I guess I should chill and be like, oh, just subscribe, like, whatever. Which please do if that meets your, that if it met your like requirements for doing that. But you know who I am, man. I just I'm very grateful if you spend any time looking at it. So that's all I gotta say. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and bye.